We are kicking off GMA Survival Week with a harrowing situation. What do you do if you're stranded at sea, lost in dangerous waters? Well, ABC's Matt Gutman knows he got the ultimate life-saving lesson, and he's here to share it with us. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Lara. For this installment, we traveled deep into Mexico to learn those life-saving survival skills in the Sea of Cortez. GMA literally dropping me off in the deep end where I learned one incredibly useful skill. All of this, of course, inspired by the people who survived the real thing.
Survivors third vessel.
Louis Jordan rescued by the Coast Guard after being lost at sea for 66 days. A former football player thrown from his 36-foot fishing boat without a life preserver.
After panicking for a minute, realized I was in some real trouble.
Rob Conrad was forced to swim 27 miles over 16 hours. Miraculously, he survived. And Seattle siblings Dan and Kate Suskey were on a charter fishing trip 8 miles off the coast of St. Lucia when their boat capsized.
It's completely surreal.
In the chaos, they lost sight of the captain and, clinging to life preservers, they swam for 14 hours in shark-infested water.
We could see land off in the distance and started swimming that direction.
Are there basic skills that they apply that help them survive being lost at sea? I wanted to find out, so here I am. Literally drifting away in the shark-infested Sea of Cortez in Mexico. Not exactly sure how I'll get out of this mess, but I do know exactly how I got into it. Earlier that morning in Hermosillo, Mexico, I boarded a chopper for a 45-minute flight over the desert to the village of Punta Chueca. It's here I meet up with Dan Baird, head instructor from the California Survival School.
You think, how hard could it be to jump off a helicopter?
Notice that perfectly good chopper is now missing its doors. Why would anyone in their right mind jump out of a helicopter in the middle of nowhere with nothing but the clothes on their backs and the shoes on their feet? Well, the plan is for Dan to teach me how to survive being lost at sea.
I'm way too terrified to have any fun.
As the chopper reaches the drop location, the Devil's Mouth, Dan and I take our positions, and on a perfectly synchronized count of 3, but it's a plunge into 70-degree water. As the rush subsides and I acclimate to the temperature, reality sets in. Now what?
If our shoes are impeding our swimming, we'll want to relax and get them off.
The first thing Dan tells me to do is take off my shoes and tie them around my neck. Shoes are not conducive to treading water, and we may be here for a while.
So the first thing we need to do is maintain our breathing, get it slowed down, slow down our heart rate, and then figure out how to maintain a float.
And we do that by...
I just took my pants off. Didn't think I'd do this on TV ever. Tie off the legs. It's real tight, just to make sure we don't waste airspace by tying them too far up the pant leg.
It's a skill that actually takes some practice. By filling the legs with air, I've actually turned my pants into a life preserver. As for avoiding sharks, as experts told us last year in the Bahamas, don't thrash around. You look like food. And if you're with another person, link arms back to back to fight them off with your legs.
If you don't see land, what do you do? If you don't see land, you just have to stay calm and conserve your energy.
Dan says your #1 enemy is panic.
If I didn't have a float like a set of pants, another option would be our dead man's float. We fill our lungs with air, put yourself face down, and just let yourself float until you feel like you need to take another breath.
A plunge from the air I will soon forget. All to help you survive the unthinkable.
Okay, the key to survive is to give yourself little tasks. Focus on keeping afloat. Maybe use your watch to try to reflect sunlight if you see a boat nearby. And honestly, if you can't see land, don't try to swim. It'll sap you of vital energy. And above all, what I learned, keep your pants on.
Please do.
Always. Good advice. It is remarkable how good a pair of pants can be as a flotation device. And if the weather starts to get bad, maybe that's a good time to put your pants on.
Of course, if you really want to survive, don't jump out of a helicopter.
Yeah. Sage advice from George.
That was George's takeaway.